And when I first met Berto a couple years ago, he's always been passionate about his work. And hat making has just been something that's been in his lineage for a long time. So, for him to be able to craft an idea that I may have or others may have, not just myself, but I've seen him create masterpieces for people who come to him with ideas saying, well, I seen this hat on a movie. I seen this hat in a magazine. Can you recreate it for? And he does it in such a authentic, way that connects you in essence with the hat. And Berto is a person that is almost like kin to me. Just his passion alone is something that you would love about him. So yeah, he's great people.
Thank you.
Next question, Chris Ryan, followed by Mike Reese.
Hey, Cam, you talked earlier this year about how cognizant you were of making sure that you took care of the football. And that's obviously been evident over the last couple of weeks with no INTs over the last 4 weeks and only one turnover. How have you changed or adapted your style in order to try to limit turnovers?
Just a more overall, thought process towards protecting the ball, making smart decisions.
And is it that much of a change? Is it that much of a mental approach that has had to adapt, or is it just basically just more attention to detail?
Just more attention to detail. Understand where you have people coming, going, and who's getting out. Understanding protections, understanding route concepts, understanding defenses, and the more comfortable that you are, the better you understand where your outlets are.
Thanks.
And bless you. Mike Reese is next, followed by Steve Sanchez.
Cam, what type of connection have you had with Kyler Murray, if any? And what are your thoughts on what he's done since entering, I guess, the league or even before that?
Kyler's a person who, is electric. And, I've had the opportunity to see the Lamar. I had the opportunity to, to play against, obviously, Deshaun last week. And, those guys and Kyler this week. It's just fun to play against a guy like that, as well as, knowing that the game is kind of turning to that style of quarterback who can not only attack you with the legs, but as well as, as potent with his legs as with his arm as well.
Cam, have you had a chance to talk much with him? Like, have you guys had much of a connection before?
No, sir.
Next question, Steve Sanchez, followed by Megan O'Brien.
Happy Thanksgiving, Cam. Hope all is well, bud.
Yes, sir. Happy Thanksgiving to you, too.
Cam, I got to ask you a Thanksgiving Day question. What's Cam Newton's favorite dish on Thanksgiving?
Ooh, I'm a dessert guy. So, whatever Mom Dukes whips up. Red rice is always good. You know what I'm saying? Something that's a family signature dish. We got collard greens, but obviously these are catered to the veganism that, I eat. So, yeah, those.
Megan O'Brien, followed by Phil Perry.
Hey, Cam. So Sony Michel has been back out on the practice field with you guys, and he was elevated to the active roster. He didn't play on Sunday, but what have you noticed about Sony since he's made his return?
He's got fresh legs, and we're anticipating, him, and just to have so much firepower in that running back room, man. Obviously, it's devastating to hear about Berkey, but for us, you can't replace a guy like that, and Sony brings something that, a lot of running backs don't have. That may be experience, that may be big playability, that may be just his understanding in this offense, and we're going to need all of that here moving forward.
3 final questions. We'll start with Phil Perry, followed by Mike Giardi.
Hey, Cam, you mentioned that the game is going to that style quarterback, Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson, now Kyler Murray this week for you guys. Do you view it almost as a prerequisite now to play your position, that guys have a certain level of athleticism. Obviously, those three we just talked about are pretty elite as far as that goes. But is there something about today's game that requires that quarterbacks be good athletes?
I don't want to say that. It's different ways to skin a cat. That's an old cliche saying. You just got to understand the system. It just depends on what system you're in. A lot of quarterbacks may not be athletic like those guys that you mentioned, but they're still effective. And as long as you have a great understanding of what your offense is trying to do, that's what it pretty much comes down to.
Cam, just as a quick follow-up, have you noticed over the course of your time in the NFL that defensive linemen have gotten more athletic?
Yeah. I mean, going against, certain players and certain defenders who are running, if not faster than you, fast as you, and I'm not just talking about defensive ends. I'm talking, three techs, shades, nose tackles. Guys are just, freakish athletes these days, and you just have to have an edge in some way in some category of your game.
Thanks, Cam.
The last two questions will be Mike Giardi and Mike Reese.
Hey, Cam, while we're on this sort of topic, I'm just curious because as we talk to all these young quarterbacks, Lamar, Deshaun, Kyler, they all bring you up as someone that they looked up to. Do you almost feel like you sort of started this trend in this direction again?
No. Listen, this trend was started way back when you had the Steve Youngs, the Warren Moons, John Elway, Randall Cunningham, Michael Vick, Donovan McNabb, Cordell Stewart to a degree, you know what I mean? So I'm not going to sit up here and be the first person to say that I am the originator of this, style of play, because that's not true. There's been a lot of quarterbacks that played way before me that have brought a element to the quarterback position that was extremely beneficial or heartaching for defenses to try to figure out.
What does it mean to you, though, to have those guys say that and to point to you as sort of their hero, if you will?
Yeah, it's cool, but I still want to beat them. So I'm pretty sure they could say the same thing about me, and that's why we play this game. It's a mutual respect, but just like any competitors going against each other, you want to see that person do good until you play them, and then afterwards, it is what it is.
Final question, Mike Reese.
Hey, Cam, I don't know if you will agree with this thought, but I just, your long ball and the passes, maybe to the middle range, I thought were pretty pinpoint. In the last game, I mean, the touchdown to Demir, obviously one that comes to mind. And then some of the shorter ones I felt like that were would be considered higher percentage, maybe were a little less consistent. And if you sort of agree with that thought, I'm curious what you saw on those shorter ones that maybe stood out to you that could help you improve in that area.
You play quarterback?
No, I would probably be more like the kicker, Cam, or like the coach,
Oh, the coach. But in order to coach something, you got to be able to have had some type of, studying in it.
Yeah.
Because I was going to use an analogy. Just like a kicker. Let's just say a kicker. I mean, truth be told, you practice for, Coach speaks on it all the time to have great fundamentals when you need them the most. And just sometimes the ball just get away from you. You just kick a bad ball. You shoot a bad shot. You just throw a bad pass. And that's what it is. I just have to be more conscientious of those type of throws.